Hi everyone. I am going to add Steph.
Hello.
Hi.
It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I
How are
know. And I love your new haircut.
Thank you.
I'm excited we can do this. I was actually just talking to someone about my birth story with Olive because someone sent their birth announcement. So I was like, this is perfect timing.
Yeah. And yeah, how are everything doing with your two babies right now?
I know Olive is going to be one in a few weeks. So that first year is coming up, and that's wild to think
Yeah,
about
such
how
a
quickly. Um,
milestone for you too.
yeah, I know. And then Rowan is 3 and being 3, which is its own journey.
Awesome. And how do they behave together?
They really like each other. It's so interesting to see like as one as the younger one becomes more mobile or like is doing more things, that older one is like, wait, why is she now touching all my stuff? Why is this happening? So it's been fun to see kind of them their changing dynamic frequently.
Yeah, it's going to change all the time, right? Mine are now 6 and 2.5.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
think we're just starting to see like some kinship, some real play and understanding. And the older sister is really taking on her role of like helping him and trying to soothe him when she sees that there's like something that he's upset about, instead of always searching for my attention and, being in this jealousy kind of cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That's
And
exciting. I look forward to that.
and I have to say that I don't have a lot of moments right now for my own yoga practice or meditation, but the small moments that I found as like little ritual. I was talking with a friend today that the only ritual that I have right now is when I put Matteo to bed. I have to stay a little bit next to him for like 10 minutes. So I do my little like internal weather check-in and
Mm,
kind of meditation and just sometimes just breathing for those 10 minutes every day. And it has been like a little meeting with myself, and it feels great.
that's so
Uh,
good.
how do you, yeah, if you want to share a little bit how your practice has shifted? Did you like take on new routines or?
Yeah, well, I remember right after I had my younger one, you were talking about like breastfeeding as a time to check in with yourself. And definitely that has stuck with me as something like not to see it as a chore or a thing to like get done before we can move on, but as a time of connecting. And I've been really appreciative of that, like whether or not it's like a body scan or even just like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. And even as I then move on to the next thing, this is the thing I'm doing right now, because so much of parenting is like you're thinking through like the next 10 steps of
Yes,
the day, um and what
exactly.
to happen if those things don't happen to
I always
plan.
talk about the tunnel of the nighttime. It's like
Oh
or
my gosh,
protocol. Yeah.
absolutely. And so to also not always feel like you're running through the tunnel. You might be in the tunnel, but
And it's funny you mentioned this because I feel like this moment where I check in with my own meditation practice, like mixed with this bedtime routine, it's a little bit the same concept as this breastfeeding time, right? How you integrate a little bit of your own self-care into something like a family time that you have to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes on a new life, literally, and a new imagining and changing expectations, which I feel like perfectly captures the whole journey from start to finish of pregnancy and postpartum.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited that you're going to be offering your series again soon. And was wondering like what you've been thinking about as it gets closer and what you're excited to share this time around.
Yeah, so so we're talking about, for people who are watching, we're talking about a series that is called Empower Your Pregnancy, and it's going to be offered exclusively online. And actually, I love this programming. I have been teaching it for maybe 5 years now at Room to Breathe. And it's a 6 weeks program, following 6 weeks following each other. And the particularity of this program that I've created is that I mix of a full yoga practice, like using all the tools of yoga, movement, intuitive movements, breathing techniques, pranayama, but also mudra and chanting and all the fun stuff, and with childbirth education. So I really want people to, when they go through this program, they feel prepared physically, for sure. So it feels good for them in the moment. And as we know, yoga can really help you with little ailments of pregnancy in the moment, but also preparing toward birth. So it mixes physical movement, but also we will have time to share, in the community. So there's like a lot of, sometimes even like a spiritual aspects and emotional aspect. And so this time around, I am really excited to work with you as well. I have worked with physical therapists in the past, but I think it's the first time I work with somebody like you to talk about maternal mental health. And I think it pairs so well with this yoga programming. And I also wanted to ask you, why do you think it's in your own? I know that my response, but I was curious to listen to you. Why do you think acknowledging and preparing for postpartum and all the perinatal mental health is important in pregnancy? And
Yeah.
you can share a little bit about your own experience, or yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that question. I was thinking the other day that pregnancy is really so much of a gateway. It's a gateway into your body in a new way and into your identity and sense of self in a new way. And that can be scary too. So it's both exciting and new or challenging. And one of the pieces that I think often gets lost is you're preparing for baby, you're thinking about birth, you're thinking about what things you need. And so rarely is it a time of, oh, what do I need to care for myself? What are the skills and challenges that I'm bringing into this experience, and how am I going to be transformed by it? And I wanted to create a space for people to think about that and to think about what support they need, because so often I think it's like, oh, maybe you go to your doctor, your midwife, and you do the Edinburgh scale, or they ask you, like, are you feeling some really extreme emotions? And oftentimes some of the mental health challenges that can come up are not the kind of things you see in shows or books as the most extreme things. They are more difficulty coping and not feeling like yourself. And I wanted to create a space alongside your exploration of the body and connecting to the body as a home, to think of also yourself emotionally and mentally as a home, and how can you like add to that experience in a deeper way.
Yeah, I love that. It's I think it's rarely acknowledged, so it would be a perfect time to welcome you to just give some information. And so we are offering a special programming pairing the 6 weeks of yoga practice and a specific workshop that Hannah is offering at the end. So if you purchase both, you have this kind of like really nice combo. But you can also go to one or the other. That's pick and choose. And yeah, can you would you like to share maybe one thing that in terms of mini practice or organization or something that has helped you keep this balance in your mental health, self-care, in your postpartum time, or something that you could, just to give an example for our students of how you can, what a postpartum plan looks like when you want to care for yourself while you're caring for your baby.
Yeah. One of the tools that I will be sharing in the workshop is thinking about a matrix of building your coping skills. And in that, it's thinking about like, what affirmations do I need to offer myself, or what affirmations feel right now? Because so often when there's a new baby, the whole schedule in the family and the house changes, and it's unpredictable. And so often the things that maybe you reach for aren't as accessible as they used to be. And it's like we talked about before, like what are those small moments that you can then recognize, like I am in my body, in myself, separate from maybe this baby that's feeling a lot of intense emotion because the world is new and overwhelming and kind of cold. And how can you observe that and still feel grounded and in your own body, even though your attention and time is focused on this little one. So seeing yourself as a separate person worthy of attention and having your needs met, even if that's not in the like whole day or 1 hour yoga class that is maybe more traditional or familiar.
Yeah, it's how we adapt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're mentioning affirmations, because I will always integrate them in the program as well, and giving examples, and also like how you can create your own, the one that really like talk to your heart, um, especially in the fifth and sixth session, because we're really focusing on yoga for birth and all the obviously the coping techniques for intensity of birth, but how you can keep your oxytocin flowing. And we know that it's so linked to emotions and the environment and your self-talk as well. So affirmation can be as useful and soothing in birth, that I think they have also this role in the postpartum time. So it will pair very well.
Yeah, there's one piece I'm remembering from practicing with you when I was pregnant that I think ties really closely to the therapeutic work I do. And one of the reasons I love Center and Room to Breathe, having that mind-body connection, because there's so much, the ways in which your body changes and isn't maybe able to do the same things as it was at different points a week ago or in 2 weeks. And you really brought in this idea of impermanence, like it's going to ebb and flow and change. And you also brought in this idea of like there is strength in whatever this moment has you're in right now. And I think rather than seeing like, oh, I'm sad because I can't do this movement, or I'm sad because I'm limited in this way, it was more able to be like, okay, I'm going to meet this this moment, recognizing the strength that is in it, and that it's not permanent, and that my body will change again in an hour, in a week. And that idea of impermanence and paired with self-compassion, I think is really both a physical and mental practice that we all need to be reminded of.
Yeah, thanks for sharing this memory. I'm also thinking that in one part of the practice that I love using, especially for self-compassion that you mentioned, is deep relaxation.
Mm.
And I'm imagining that it pairs really well with, a tool that you could have in a self-care plan for postpartum. So we will always do a part of deep relaxation, also known as yoga nidra for people who know this practice, and where we can use the affirmations and where we can also acknowledge the change in our bodies and encourage the body to feel held and supported with the way it is right now, and it's okay. And just this courage of being there with no expectations and just feeling supported and sending love to your baby and yourself can be really soothing and I think in a great help for traversing those ebbs and flows of pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm really reminded of the book Transformed by Birth. I don't know if you've read it, but
It's a reference. Yes.
It's one of my favorites as well. And I think that is an example of like the essence of resources, and like ways of thinking about pregnancy and postpartum and then parenting that I really try to carry through in my work. And I know you do as well. So it's nice. I feel like in some ways, as challenging as it can be, pregnancy and postpartum, you get tapped into this community that maybe you wouldn't have access to otherwise, and that's always an exciting piece too, and that's a great example of something I wouldn't have encountered.
Absolutely, and I have to say that I was kind of like more in the observation mode at the beginning of all these online shifts, and I had some kind of skepticism, like how you can connect, but it really works. And I think the beauty of it is that this community now has no limits, and I'm the living example. I'm teaching from Spain.
Wow.
So and I can see that I have many people from around the US in those programs right now, and with their specific time zone, specific like culture sometimes and lives, and it's the beauty of coming together, meeting with this experience in common. So that's also very convenient. I think it's online, so you don't have to worry about commute and timing so much, and you can practice from the comfort of your home. So that's why I think it makes sense, this program, that it's fully online for now too.
Yeah, my mindful parenting work.
Do
Say
you
that again.
practice in person right now? Have you been back to in person, or are you still online more?
I'm online still, both with yoga and with seeing clients, and yeah, I agree. I feel like there's pros and cons to both, but I do feel like the ability to connect is so much stronger than we all anticipated, and what it offers parents and expecting people in terms of like convenience and showing up when you can is huge. My mindful parenting workshop, which I'm offering another round of in the end of May, we had folks from Chicago, but then also both coasts, and people were putting kids to bed with camera off and then coming back. And I know with Mind Body, we're also going to be able to offer recordings for 7 days. And so I think the chance to be able to go back to something and to access it later is really helpful.
Absolutely. That will be you said for your workshop that is going to be available. Yeah, we will do that too for the 6 weeks. And yeah, so maybe I will remind you some of the details. So the program is starting on Thursday, April 21st. And we thought that this program, we will offer it in the morning, so expecting parents can join. So it's from 7:30 a.m. Central Time to 9, always an hour and a half with a mix of movement, of relaxation, and also a little more educational part at the beginning. So each week, and I can tell you the thematics. So the first week we're talking about embracing changes and transformations, and this is where I will come in with all your expertise and experience. And then session 2 we will talk about focus on conscious breathing for pregnancy. So I give a little bit of anatomy and energetic of the breathing. Session 3 I love the title, Your Pelvic Floor Demystified. So, I have all my props here and I'm showing,
Always ready.
always ready. A little bit of like the function, the role of the pelvic floor, why it's important to know about it and feel it in pregnancy, and how, again, you can prepare for postpartum and birth. And the session 5 and 6 are focused on yoga for childbirth. So yeah, really trying to blend in, my doula experience as well with teaching of yoga and own experience of parenting. Somehow it's always present as well, as I'm sure you're doing too.
Yes, and you're such a wise and comforting, calm presence. So people are lucky to learn from you. And it is challenging. And for folks that want to either add on or just separately pull in the piece, I'm offering Caring for Yourself While Caring for a Baby, focus on pre and postpartum mental health. So that workshop will also be online. It's going to be a Thursday evening, 7 to 8:30 Central Time on June 2nd. So it'll be right after Steph's series has ended, and it'll be a nice cap to that time together. And then for folks that are expecting or already parenting, I'm also going to be offering my mindful parenting workshop the week prior, May 25th, also in the evening. So all of those events are on Center and Room to Breathe's website.
I'm so excited that you're recording because of the time change. I won't be able to attend live, but I'm sure I'm going to be so happy to watch the recording.
Yes, so all of it coming together, and I'm excited to see more of you soon.
Yes. So if you have any questions, if you're watching this on replay on Room to Breathe wall, you can tag us, or you can ask questions, and we will be super happy with Anna to answer the questions even after this live. And we hope to see you soon in April and May.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Wishing you all well. Good to see you. Bye.
Bye.